Hello everyone, my name is Larseth and welcome back to another country guide in Europa Universalis IV. In this episode, as you can see, we'll be doing Sweden. Sweden is another fun country to play, in my opinion. It has a lot of opportunities for expansion. I mean, there's also quite a few I think there's 2 or 3 achievements associated with Sweden. But that is not the subject of this video. In this video, we will be giving a reasonably short guide on the directions you sort of want to take when starting with Sweden. So at the moment, you can see we are currently under Denmark in a personal union, the Kalmar Union. The first thing that you will do as Sweden is to break out of this personal union. That can either be done by waiting for Denmark's heir to die, because if I recall, they have incredibly low prestige. Well, yeah, they have zero prestige. Or you can go to war, an independence war. Now, Sweden may have a lot of land, but it's not terribly well developed. So, as such, you don't have a particularly high force limit. You only have a force limit of 12. However, you do have a superior navy to Denmark, or you have the ability to have a superior navy to Denmark. So the best option you can take is either to declare war and station your navy here so that Denmark cannot come across to the mainland and take your capital. So then you only have to deal with Norway, which is a pretty easy thing to do. And what with a ticking war score, you'll be able to get independence. But, I mean, with sieging down these provinces and Norway, you'll get that easily. The other option is, because, as you can see here, at the start of the game, very start of the game, Denmark have a revolt on Gotland. So what you can wait for them to do, you can wait for Denmark to eventually move their army over there to suppress that revolt. You can see the actual unit, the rebels are relocating. They're relocating here. So Denmark will probably come across, deal with the rebels, but at some point they will have to go and siege down this province. So you can wait until they go across there, keep their army stranded on this island, whilst you siege down the rest of their provinces, essentially. That is an option. Now, you want ideally to get as many people to support your independence as possible, although there's not generally too many people who will. But you have to sort of butter a lot of people up and whatnot. Normally, Novgorod will. It says apparently they won't in this situation. Okay, so Lithuania will. So that's a really good one. So you want people to support your independence. And so once you're independent, what do? Well, you're in a really good position for some expansion right off the bat. Novgorod, generally speaking, isn't always the case, but generally they get swallowed by Muscovy. So by the time you are independent, you'll be able to go and mop up the remaining Novgorod provinces, so like the Kola Peninsula, and basically as much as you can swallow you want to take. It's good to get Neva, because that is a estuary and it's a centre of trade. So you ideally want to sort of at least get these provinces here. After that point, the war then becomes a war with Muscovy. Now, to help you with doing this, you probably want to get an alliance with Poland and Lithuania, or it'll just be Poland once they get the personal union over Lithuania. So that will help you greatly. After that, expansion into the Livonian Order is probably your best bet. One of the achievements as Sweden is to own the whole Baltic coastline. So that'll eventually mean you have to come down here, take the whole of Denmark, take the whole of Norway. Eventually you will annex the whole of Norway. You will want to annex the whole of Norway anyway, just because they're not strong. So as long as you just do the same thing again with Denmark and keep them over here with your navy, it's an easy war. So, idea-wise, what are the best ones? Well, Sweden's one of those nations that doesn't really have a sort of a predetermined bias towards certain ideas. So, like, Castile is colonization-based, for example. Brandenburg is military-based. Sweden is really sort of whatever you want. So, as such, the best one to go for first would be administrative ideas. So, right off the bat, you get this core creation cost. If you're not a huge fan, I mean, this also comes with loads of mercenary buffs, which, because your force limit isn't particularly high, will come in handy using mercenaries. And your manpower isn't particularly high either. If you're not a fan of admin ideas, you can go for innovative ideas, which obviously gives this nice technological cost reduction. After that, it's normally a best idea to go for a military idea. First and foremost is probably offensive, followed by quantity, and after that it's sort of up to you. Trade is a good one to get for Sweden, because if you can control Neva and the Baltic Sea, then that will cut off a lot of sort of trade from Lübeck, which you'll get to keep for yourself, obviously. If you manage to conquer all of this, then all the better. You'll be rolling in trade money from the Lübeck node. So after that, what's probably the best ones to go for? Maritime is probably a good one. Possibly naval. I'd say one or the other, probably not both. Diplomatic's always a nice one to go for at some point, especially with your proximity to the Holy Roman Empire. But other than that, for ideas, that's generally the sort of theme you want to go for. Long-term, like long-term plans, you want to unite the whole of Scandinavia, possibly even form Scandinavia. There's the decision for that. Yeah, form Scandinavian nation. Conquer Denmark and potentially start moving into the Holy Roman Empire, or even you could just continue to go across into Russia. It's up to you. The world is your oyster. Eventually, depending on whether you become Protestant, which I normally do, it's much more beneficial than Catholic, in my opinion. Depending on whether you do that, you might end up leading the League Wars against Austria. If you win, there's another achievement right there. So, all in all, Sweden's actually a really fun country to play, and it of course is not overpowered in the slightest. But yeah, so I hope this guide helped you somewhat, and if it did, I hope you will watch any future guides I produce. So in the meantime, take care.